Hey everybody, today we're talking more Superman. This is Superman Up in the Sky. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent and we're continuing our Summer of Superman coverage probably all the way through July. I'm so excited for this new Superman movie here in 2025. If you're watching this later, that's why all the branding is saying it's the Summer of Superman, so we're taking part in that and doing a lot of Superman stuff, because I have a lot of Batman videos on the channel, a lot of Avengers and stuff, not a lot of Superman. So when I found these books at the library, I was like, oh, I want to read them. I don't own them, never, haven't reread them since I read them as floppies. And there's some stuff like this one that I skipped out on purpose because A, it was hard to get, and B, it was Tom King. So, little history. Haven't done a review of Tom King's Batman run on the channel yet. I have read it all digitally when it was coming out. I've got the book one over there. I plan on getting the other ones just to have. I do think there are some redeeming moments, but me and Tom King don't know personally, obviously, but I have a little beef with his style. I think Vision is great. I think Strange Adventures was fantastic until the last issue. I think Mr. Miracle, I've read it once. I need to read that again and review it for the channel. I think that's a great title. But I think a lot of times he has trouble writing a story that's coherent. And that definitely shows here, although I don't know if it's on purpose. I think it might be because of the format. But he definitely does lose his way a little bit. So Superman Up in the Sky, what is it? There's a deluxe edition that is out either in the next month or already out when you're watching this video when it's released. So I got this one from the library. This is the old hardcover that's been available. And it is a collection basically of 10-page stories that are all written by Tom King and all beautifully drawn by Andy Kubert. Andy Kubert of the Grant Morrison Batman run, not Adam Kubert, who did the Jeff Johns Last Son of Krypton here, right? So Adam Kubert came over, did this, was very late, and left and went back to Marvel. He did a whole lot of like Deadpool and Wolverine stuff since then with Jason Aaron. You can go find him out there. And he did some X-Men stuff on, Avengers vs. X-Men. All this happened afterwards. Andy kind of stayed with DC. He did a lot of Batman stuff. He did the Grant Morrison stuff. He did Batman Detective most recently. He wrote and drew his own Damian, Son of Batman 4-issue miniseries. That's been collected, I think, as a deluxe edition recently also. He did some other things too. He hit Flashpoint, for crying out loud, right? So I believe this is his most recent thing that he's done with DC. He's teaming up here with Tom King, who at this point was kind of a successful writer. He was doing, I think his Batman run had just ended. So this came out in 2018 and 19 and collected in 2020, right? So originally there was a publishing initiative by DC to get comics in Walmarts, right? Walmart, the biggest retailer in the United States, and they wanted to put out like a thicker magazine thing, some with original material and some reprints of older stuff. So basically like a poorly bound collection of single issues, and the new material was the draw for people to go get it, right? If you're a comic reader, I guess. So Batman had his, and that was done with, I don't even remember, I haven't read it. Brian Michael Bendis, and I can't remember the artist's name. And then you had Superman, which was Tom King and Andy Kubert. So they didn't launch it with number one, though. It's all in here. They did 3 through 13, took a little break, and then 15 and 16. So what's neat about these collections is that all those, individual covers are collected in the back of the story. And then it was later reprinted as its own miniseries, Superman Up in the Sky. I called it Up and Away in a blooper earlier. 1 through 6, right? So it is 12 parts. They're all 10 pages. And it does say end part 1, end part 2 at the end of each 10-pager. It starts off really strong, and you just got to go with the framing of this. Like, literally, this is meant for people who, you can read each one individually. Superman's on a mission. But there's not a strong narrative thread from chapter to chapter. And I think that is by design. Like, for instance, this one, issue number 3 here, part 3, is this face-off with this alien boxer. And Superman apparently has no powers. And he's just beating him up. And he's looking for information on this girl that was kidnapped in the first part. And Superman at first is like, I can't go save everybody. And Batman's like, I need you to go save her because she's out there. if she was here, we have plenty of resources to track her down, but she's out there and you're her favorite superhero. So it kind of pulls on your heart there also. So anyway, Superman finally decides to go and save her. So now he's searching down clues. So a lot of the first couple chapters are that. And then you get to this really wacky chapter. And it has some Tom King stuff in here, like Superman waiting at a call center to make a call home to Lois. And he's wondering what Lois is doing. And each time he's wondering, he imagines how she dies randomly. And it's called like the 1,000 Deaths of Lois Lane. You never do see the phone call. And then the next chapter are the two weirdest ones, is Superman in World War II with Sergeant Rock fighting. I don't know how that happens. It just happens. And then that ends, and you jump to what is probably the best 10-pager in here, which is this race with the Flash. And it's beautifully drawn by Andy Kubert. So seeing him do Flash again after he did Flashpoint is phenomenal, because he's actually in the costume for most of this 10 pages, right? And it's told in these beautiful, like, one-page splash pages. But again, you do have the Tom Kingness of, like, you know, going overboard with all the narrative captions. That's one thing with Tom King. Like, he loves his narrative captions, and he loves to do this. There was one issue of Batman that I could not stand. It was this same conceit. Batman was having a nightmare, and most of the captions were some fucking poem that Tom King didn't even write. It was like a famous poem from somewhere, and I'm like, I don't even know this poem. This doesn't mean anything to me. I want to read a fucking Batman story, not your narrative captions. Fortunately, Tom King here is telling Superman-related stuff here in the captions. It's stuff he wrote. It's not quoting a poem, and the artwork is gorgeous, and he does kind of frame the storyline with, you know, details as you're looking at this giant splash page, so that is nice. So that is one of the better uses of Tom King's narrative caption crutch, I will say. But yeah, overall, like, I think it's just, you know, if you're looking for short Superman stories, I think there is something here for you. But if you're looking for an all-time great Superman story, like, to me, this isn't it. This is a nice Superman story. Does it deserve a deluxe edition that they put out? Sure. I think the artwork is fantastic. But am I going to recommend this over anything else? I don't think so. I think it's going to be like, hey, if you like Superman, try this. But first try Superman for All Seasons. First try Superman Birthright. For God's sake, All-Star Superman. You know, and this might be like on the second tier of, like, these are nice Superman stories. Try this one. You know, if you thought those were too involved with continuity or whatever, here's one that doesn't require anything, right? And I think that's one of the bonuses here. He does, you know, spoilers, he does find the girl, but it's like in the last two chapters, and there's no clues that you're actually given for him to go find him. It's just Superman doing this in one chapter and doing another thing and another thing, and then you have those weird chapters in the middle where that don't actually connect, which is very strange. So I think that's my gripe. Like, I'm looking for a story, and if you're going to tell individualized chapters, that makes sense to me, but the weird, like, offshoot with Sergeant Rock and the Flash, as much as the Flash one, fun as the Flash one was, for me, took away to, like, be like, oh, here's Tom King doing Tom King things again. And that's fine for people who like him, but man, it just rubs against me for whatever reason, because I find it in every single thing he writes. You know, I bought Heroes in Crisis at Ollie's. I got a hardcover for like $8. I got it sitting here in front of me behind the camera, and that's going to be on the list to read, you know, because I don't have to read 80 issues of Batman to figure it out. So we'll be talking about that on the channel. And that was another one. I wasn't the only one that disliked that story. That's for sure. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But, you know, again, Up in the Sky, if you love Andy Kubert and you love his art, this is a great one to have. It's beautifully rendered. The colors are fantastic. The inks are great. Sandra Hope is the inker. Brad Anderson, the colorist. Clayton Cowles, the letterer. You know, got this Chip Kid looking design, I think, in the middle here of, you know, the title of the book on the back and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess check it out. If you're really a fan of Tom King and you disagree with everything I say and you think he's a genius, you're going to love this story. If you kind of relate to what I'm saying, you know, you might think it's okay. So, again, your results may vary, as with everything. So either find it in the library or on Hoopla, as you would, or probably Comixology Unlimited probably has it at some point in the near future or the past, right? And read it that way, or borrow it from a friend if you're not a huge Tom King fan, or if you really want that deluxe edition, go get it. You know, read what you like, right? Don't read things that you don't like. I was hoping to like this a little more than I did, you know, but I think it ended up on the more positive side of the Tom King stories I've read for me, but I'm not super in love with it. Like, many people are crying this to be the the next Superman classic. And for me, not even close. But it's on the good side of the meter, I think. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Superman up in the sky. Let me know if you disagree down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as next time, as always, we'll see you in the funny pages.